going on with y'all this morning, on this Friday morning? Good morning. But I was just thinking, right? People need to stop really, counting themselves out, man, thinking that they can't do something, thinking they can't get through something, right? The mind is a powerful thing, and we tell ourselves stuff every day, right? We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then we come back and come up with an excuse. Oh, well, let me just, how about tomorrow? Putting the stuff off, man. Or just thinking you just can't do something, man. You can do it. You strong. I ain't gonna lie. I never thought that I would be, drug free like this. Never, right? Because I was dependent. I was dependent for years, right? I was dependent on getting on getting high. I was dependent on feeling, that whole feeling. I ain't believe in myself, man. And what's crazy, I can honestly say, like, it was people around that really believed in me, right? From the beginning. And I was just looking over. I was, like I said, I was still getting high. It wasn't genuine, right? You can do anything you put your mind to, man. Stop thinking that, and this one thing that people got to stop thinking too. And I'm speaking to the men out there, right? Stop thinking, oh, because we men, we not supposed to go through certain things, or we not supposed to hurt, or we don't have feelings because we the man of the house, or we a man. Man, listen. If somebody cut us, we gonna bleed. It's gonna hurt us. So I don't see why people, just count themselves out, man. Sometimes it takes for people to, to let you know who you is. We all are kings and queens, all of us. Them putting so much stuff in these drugs and pills, in marijuana, even in liquor, man, they tainting liquor, right? It ain't even worth it no more to get, to do that type of stuff. It's not worth it. I care about my life more, right? I played Russian roulette for years and dodged the bullet. I just sat up there and questioned why I'm still here and my 13-year-old son is gone, right? And I kept coming with the same conclusion. I had a greater purpose. My son at 13, he had accomplished, all the things that required him to be called home. That's how I look at it, right? I'm 37 and I haven't accomplished what I needed to be called home. And I'm 37 and I ain't accomplished it yet, But obviously God got a greater purpose for me, man. And people be lying to themselves that they ain't, they ain't addicted to something, man. If you've been doing something more than a week, you addicted. You addicted, man. I was eating every 3 days. Every 3 days, just because I felt that if I eat, that my high would get blowed, right? Since I ain't been using, man, I'm at 190. I'm eating multiple times a day. I'm talking about really eating big meals. You get what I'm saying? The difference in my body right now that I notice is, man, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, right? I kind of feel like I put it off too long in the first place, right? My kids seeing me like that, One thing I can say, like, people knew that I was always going through stuff, right? But, man, we stronger than that, man, to be putting poison in our body, just because, we lost a loved one. Our loved one wouldn't want to see that, It ain't respectable. It's not cute. None of that, right? Right now, I might smoke a little weed, drink a little syrup, a little syrup, I don't do nothing else. I don't drink alcohol. I ain't drink alcohol in some years, man. I'm basically clearing out my mind, and it's been 10 plus years since I was like sober with nothing in my body like this. In order for me to be sober like this, I had to go to jail. That should tell you something. I had to go to jail and I couldn't even sleep. It was like going through motherfucking death, right? Going through withdrawal in jail. That shit is crazy, right? And I feel like I played a part in poisoning my community for so long, with selling perks. you know. And then when I stopped, you know, God wasn't just gonna let me walk away. All the damage that I done. We talking about, I was selling perks in 2013, 2014, 2015, way before the epidemic, right? And, you know, God said, no, I ain't even gonna allow you to poison your community and think you're gonna walk away and spend this money with your family, right? So my family ain't, you know, I ain't the only person that suffered. You know, just like my family, you know, lived off the money and all of that. They had to suffer too with watching me be hooked on the drug that I sold for so long, right? You know, it's over now, you know, and during that time though I was using, I was still, you know, taking care of my kids. A lot of people couldn't even tell, right? You couldn't even tell because I still tried to keep myself up. You know, then I went through a period where I wasn't coming out the house, you know, because losing my son, you know, I wasn't feeling it, right? And the drugs was making that negative thought process that I got, it was making it that much more wrong. It was making it that much more better, right? And as long as I continued to think in that same mind frame, nothing was gonna change. Nothing, right? You gotta want change for yourself, right? Especially if you grown. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you, ain't nobody gonna want it for you, right? And I'm thankful for the person that I am. You know, like I know people that was on drugs and they hit rock bottom. Like, I ain't saying that I ain't hit rock bottom within 10, man, I done been through everything. I done slept in my van. I ain't got it no more, but, you know, slept in my van. I done been homeless, you know, but, you know, still money in my pocket. You know, I've been through so much stuff, man, even living in Phoenix, right? I came back here for a reason. Then I blame myself for coming back here because, you know, if I'd have kept my son in Phoenix, he probably wouldn't have passed. He didn't start having complications more until we moved here, right? It just depends on how you look at it, right? I know my son ain't suffering no more. I know he in a better place. You know, I know he's still here with me. He's still here with us. You know, I keep his name alive. And it's never gonna stop. He'll be 16. Well, if he was alive, he'll be 16 right now, right? You know, man, it hurts me every day. Every day, not a day go by, right? This is a different kind of pain when you lose a child. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not telling people how to deal with how to deal with grief, how to deal with trauma. I'm trying to show you a better way to deal with it, right? I'm not trying to change your mind and make you do something you don't want to do, but I'm just trying to open up your mind and your thought process into the different things. It's going to be hard, man. Anything that's easy to accomplish or get to, it ain't worth it, right? So, yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And I blame myself because that's what I get, you know, for being on drugs for so long, you know. It ain't going to be easy. It wasn't easy getting on. Hell no. It took years. It took for me to stop using and relapse, stop using and relapse. It took so much stuff for me to get to the point and the place that I'm at today. And when I think about it, I worked for that. I worked my butt off of that. Nobody else, right? Nobody else. I went through that, right? So at the end of the day, I got something to be proud of. If ain't nobody else gonna be proud of me, right? I'm grown. So no, and I tell people all the time, you should not be congratulated on doing stuff that you supposed to do, right? You supposed to do that. You supposed to take care of your kids. So you're not supposed to be saying, yeah, I took care of my kids. That's what you're supposed to do. You brought them in this world, you know? You know, when you say, oh, I pay rent, I pay my bills. You're supposed to do that. You're grown. You got a roof over your head, right? You know, we got to stop trying to look for, you know, congratulations for stuff that we supposed to be doing or we were supposed to been doing, right? So when people say, oh, man, I'm proud of you, I really don't pay attention to it because I'm just like, damn, I wasn't supposed to be using drugs in the first place. I was supposed to have been stopped. I'm stronger than that. I'm a young black king, you know. But it is what it is, you know. A man fall 1,000 times. You know, it's all about you getting yourself up, picking yourself up and going. Listen, anybody going through anything, addiction, relationship, man, comment, hit my message, whatever. I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears. I got advice if you want to hear it. You know, I done been through so much stuff. I done been through, dragging 2 women alone for years without picking one. You know, some of y'all, that know me, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know, I had to get out that mind frame. It's been years, since I did that. Like I say, I ain't perfect. I still make mistakes, right? But I think I got something that people want to hear, right? And my my opinion at this point, I ain't gonna say like it means a lot, but I got some people want to hear, and I think y'all should hear this, right? Because I'm gonna keep it real. That's one thing. I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't finna lie. I'm not finna sugarcoat it. My grandma always said, don't do nothing that you ashamed to admit to other people. Yeah, it ain't other people's business what I do. I ain't gotta explain nothing to nobody, right? But I'm an open book, right? Certain things I ain't open about, but certain things I'm open with, because people need to hear it, Man, we only got one world. This is the one world we have, Earth, that we know about, right? We got one chance. You gonna go through a lot of stuff. We all gonna go through a lot of stuff, right? Keep going. Keep going. Dust yourself off. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? I was just the one that's not ashamed to admit it, right? And to put my business out there. And that makes me vulnerable when I put my business out there, like I've been doing these past few days, that makes me vulnerable, right? I don't care what people think, man. They ain't paying my bills. They ain't gave me nothing when I was using drugs. They ain't take care of me. I'm not worried about what nobody think. Nobody, man. I'm happy. I don't care what nobody think, man. So I just want to try to lead with that this Friday morning. I'm gonna drop a few more videos. YouTube. They playing right now, saying that I'm waiting on them to verify me. So it all depends on when y'all get this video. Hopefully it'll be today. If not, I'm gonna drop this video on my other platforms, on Facebook, my Crash Out Angels page, my other Facebook page, Montreal Miller, Rich Boy Reed. Man, hit me up, comment. Like I said, I'm learning this whole social media stuff. I'm learning how to be on camera, right? Because I never did that. I'm learning how to talk. I'm learning how to carry myself better, And if y'all got any input, insiders, anything y'all can help me with, or anything that y'all think will make my videos that much better, let me know. Let me know. Man, I listen to everybody. I'm open to criticism, all of that. I'm not sensitive to the point where I'm all in my feelings. It ain't, come on now, that ain't me. I'm grown. I'm 37 now, baby. But yeah, y'all have a nice day on this Friday morning, man. Avion should be up right now getting ready. I'm finna be on my way to him right in a second. But yeah, man, y'all tell me what y'all got playing this weekend. All right, man, I'll holler at y'all in a minute.